The first chill hit me the moment we stepped into the abandoned French Quarter townhouse. It was summer 2019, and my friends, I'll call them Amanda, Jake, Luis throughout this narration, and myself, had rented the place for a long weekend in New Orleans. The townhouse was narrow, creaky, and oppressive, with peeling paint and high ceilings adorned with cracked plaster medallions. The windows were thick with grime, and the humid city air leaked in faintly through the cracks. A fine layer of dust coated everything, disturbed only by the sound of our boots crunching on the wooden floor. I didn't believe in ghosts, but my friends had other ideas. Luis had read that the house had belonged to a voodoo practitioner in the 1800s. Amanda, always chasing thrills, suggested we hold a séance, and Jake, the skeptic of the group, reluctantly agreed to humour her. The air inside the house felt heavy, almost viscous, as if the heat of the day had been replaced by a damp, suffocating weight. Shadows stretched long along the walls. Every step echoed unnaturally. The townhouse smelled faintly of mildew and old wood. We set up in the parlour on the first floor. A round table in the centre, candles lit, flickering weakly against the towering shadows. The furniture was old but solid. We arranged our hands on a small worn Ouija board, purchased earlier that day from a curio shop on Royal Street. I glanced at the faded letters. A to Z, numbers 0 to 9, yes, no, and goodbye. Amanda went first. She asked, "Is anyone here with us?" Nothing moved at first. Then, almost imperceptibly, the planchette twitched. Luis leaned in, eyes wide. "It's working," he whispered. I tried to stay calm. "Who are you?" Jake asked next. The planchette slid slowly, deliberately, spelling Marcellus. My stomach tightened. I didn't know anyone by that name. The room seemed smaller, the shadows stretching like dark fingers along the walls. We continued, each of us asking questions. The entity claimed it had been trapped in the house for over a century, unable to leave. The words felt urgent, almost angry. HELPMEDONTLEAVE. I laughed nervously. This is just a board moving on its own. We're tired, that's all. But my voice sounded hollow, even to me. The candles flickered violently. A chair scraped across the floor behind me. I spun. Nothing. Amanda's face went pale. "Did you feel that?" Her hand trembled on the planchette. It moved suddenly and violently. LEAVENOW. I froze. The temperature dropped sharply, our breaths visible in the candlelight. I wanted to leave, throw the board out the window, run into the humid night. But before I could speak, a loud bang echoed through the parlour, like someone slamming a door upstairs. Luis jumped. "Okay, maybe we stop now." We agreed. Amanda said the final goodbye, sliding the planchette to goodbye. The candles dimmed as if surrendering to the sudden silence. I wanted to convince myself the night was over. We left the house, laughing nervously, telling ourselves the adrenaline was part of the fun. But as we walked back through the French Quarter, I noticed shadows flitting just at the edge of our vision, moving differently than the natural sway of people and streetlight. The streets were alive with music, laughter, and the smell of fried food. But for me, everything felt heavier, charged. The next day, the terror escalated. Amanda wanted to explore the upper floors. We reluctantly agreed. The staircase groaned under our weight. In one room, a high ceiling with a cracked plaster rose revealed faint scorch marks, as if something hot had grazed it. Shadows danced across the walls as the sun slanted through the grimy windows. When we entered the bedroom, the air shifted, instantaneous cold, like a draft from nowhere. Luis's eyes widened. Did anyone else feel that? Before we could answer, the candles we'd lit downstairs appeared in the air with flickering light, but we hadn't brought any up. The flames wavered, then extinguished abruptly. The planchette on the Ouija board, which we'd left behind in the parlour, slid suddenly, spelling DONTFORGET. We bolted downstairs. The adrenaline pumped, my heart thrumming so loudly I thought the others could hear it too. Outside, the streets were busy with tourists, street performers, and music. The noise should have been grounding, but it wasn't. That night, back in the townhouse, the experience became personal. I woke to a cold weight pressing against my chest, breathing shallow. Shadows moved around the ceiling and walls, stretching, recoiling, coming closer and fading. I saw shapes, faces maybe, vanishing when I blinked. A whisper hissed, unintelligible but urgent, near my ear. The next morning, Amanda suggested one final séance. I wanted to refuse, but curiosity and fear intertwined. None of us could turn away completely. We set up the board again in the parlour. Almost immediately, the planchette moved without touch. Letters spelled out STAY. Luis's face drained of colour. I gripped the edge of the table. Candles flickered violently, and a lamp fell off the mantel without reason, smashing on the floor. Amanda's voice shook. It doesn't want us to leave. Then the board spelled MARCELLUSIFYOULEVEWILLFOLLOW. We laughed nervously, tried to brush it off as coincidence, but the air was thick and oppressive. Something unseen pressed around us, making it hard to breathe. We decided to cut the session short. Amanda said the final goodbye. The planchette clattered violently before stopping. Silence, then a faint scraping from upstairs. We bolted outside, hearts hammering, lungs burning. Returning home from the trip should have ended the terror, or so we thought. It didn't. I arrived in Chicago, Amanda in Denver, Luis in New York, and Jake in Boston. Less than 24 hours later, the board arrived, unbidden, in a brown paper bag at my apartment. I hadn't packed it. My pulse raced as I tore it open. The board looked identical to the one we'd left in New Orleans. Worn edges, faded letters, heavier somehow, as if it carried the presence with it. That night, I dreamt of the townhouse. Candles flickered, shadows slithered along the walls, and Marcellus's name echoed, STAY. I jolted awake, drenched in sweat. The incidents escalated quickly. Doors I knew I'd locked were unlocked. Objects moved, keys, books, mugs, then heavier things, my backpack sliding across the floor, lamps toppling. Whispers came, faint at first, then distinct. Help me. Amanda called from Denver. Her apartment felt wrong. Shadows moved in corners. Lamps fell. Luis in New York reported strange thumps at night. Jake in Boston had objects sliding off shelves when no one was home. I couldn't sleep. Every creak sounded like someone walking. Once I opened my fridge. There it was. The planchette, upright, pointer aimed at me. I hadn't touched it. I boxed it and took it to a church for blessing. Holy water, prayers. The air felt lighter for hours, but the relief didn't last. That night, a book fell from my shelf. The whispering returned. Stay. I felt eyes on me. Months passed. The incidents became infrequent but never stopped. Shadows lingered in my peripheral vision. Objects shifted subtly. Marcellus, or whatever it was, had followed us across the country, tethered to the night in New Orleans. Years later, I still feel it. The adrenaline, the terror, the oppressive presence. It never fully leaves. I never touch Ouija boards, never explore abandoned houses. But sometimes, in a quiet apartment at night, I see shadows in the corner of my eye, and I remember it's still waiting, patient, tethered to me by that one terrifying summer weekend.